Hey, sixth grade. So again, I'm going to do my daily video on your lesson today in case you didn't join the Zoom or if Mr. Castillo goes over something that's not in your assignment today. So what we're going to do today is review because your test is on Monday. Yesterday we reviewed energy transformations. Today we're going to review resources. So let's get started. Okay, we're talking about natural resources. So energy has to come from somewhere, right? And there's two ways we can get that. We either have renewable or non-renewable resources. Your essential question or what we need to know is how do you know the difference, differentiate between renewable and non-renewable resources? So how can we tell the difference between the two? And we have to know examples of each, as well as the pros and cons. Okay, so first off, why are they important? So what are natural resources and why are they important to us? So natural resources, the earth provides almost everything we need to survive, although through its atmosphere or the air, the oceans, and our soil. We use these natural resources to help us survive. So natural resources, any material that comes from the earth. So that means living things, humans, trees, grass, soil, everything. Okay, so those are those things that we use from the earth to help us survive. So like water, petroleum, minerals, trees, animals. Most of our natural resources are made into products like plastic or um, wood that we use for tables, things that we use, as well as, of course, energy. So first, what is a renewable resource? A renewable resource is a natural resource. So again, it comes from the earth that can be used and replaced over a relatively short time. So that means we can keep reusing them over a short period of time. It doesn't take a long time for us to reuse these or to make more. So renewable resources are, again, a natural resource. So it comes from the earth and it's things that we can use again and we can keep getting a good supply of that over a short period of time. So although it can be replaced, we often use them more quickly than they can be replaced. So sometimes we do use things, and there's so many of us as far as humans go that need energy. Sometimes it takes a little while, and we use these more faster than we can replace them. Okay, so examples of these is water and trees. So we use trees for a resource, and we use, of course, water. What's a non-renewable resource? So not all of Earth's resources are renewable, meaning we can't keep using them. So that's a non-renewable resource. Again, it's a natural resource, so it comes from the earth, and it cannot be replaced easily. Okay, which means that it does come from the earth, so it can be remade by the earth, but it takes years and years, millions of years, thousands of years to remake it, so it's hard for us to use it often. The Earth only has a certain amount of renewable resources at any given time. So again, there's a lot of people on Earth, so we're using these non-renewable resources more quicker than what can be replaced, which means we're running out of them. For example, oil, natural gas, and coal. So most of the energy that we use today come from fossil fuels, and fossil fuels is a non-renewable energy source. So that means that it cannot be replaced easily, and it's formed from the remains of plants and animals that lived a long, long time ago. Okay, so those things died, got compressed and heated, and turned into fossil fuels. So examples would be like petroleum or oil, coal, and natural gas. When they are burned, they produce energy. But once we burn them, they're gone. We've seen this before. How is coal formed? So before the dinosaurs, many giant plants died in the swamps. Over millions of years, the plants were buried under water and dirt. So these are the dead plants here. They got buried under the dirt and water over a million years ago. Then the heat and pressure turn these dead plants into coal. So once it gets close to the earth, it gets hotter, and then of course it gets more and more dirt and rock on top of it and creates pressure and turns it into coal. Okay, sort of the same thing with natural gas. These are from sea plants and animals that died and got buried under the ocean floor. But the same concept, it gets pushed under all the sand and rock and water, and so it gets compressed and pressure, and it turns into oil and gas deposits. Okay, so most of the time we use fossil fuels for energy, but there are two disadvantages to that. One, they run out, so there's only so much that we can use. And then the other thing is that when we burn them, they're really bad for the environment. So they create a lot of pollution. But the reason we use them is because they're cheap to use, as well as they don't take up a lot of space, and they're really good at producing energy. So some disadvantages is that they produce pollution and there's not a lot of them. And then the good things about it, the advantages, is that they don't take up a lot of room. They're really good at producing energy. But we also can use renewable resources. And so the good thing about renewable energy sources is that we can use them over and over again. And they don't take a long time for them to um, renew themselves. Okay. Another good thing about it is they don't produce a lot of pollution, which is great for the earth. And then another thing, but some bad things about it is that they're kind of limited on depending on where you are. So it may not be windy one day, so you can't use the wind energy. It may not be sunny one day, so you can't use that solar energy. Maybe you're not near any water, so then you can't use water energy. The other thing is that it takes up a lot of space. So solar panels and the windmills, they take up a lot of room to use, and they're kind of expensive. But they don't produce pollution, which is a great thing for our Earth and a great thing for us. Okay. So why is this important? Okay, so we need to be careful on how we use our natural resources and only use them when necessary. So there's a lot of people on Earth and we use a lot of energy. And so we're using that energy more than we need to, and so we're running out. So it's very necessary that our generation, your generation, finds alternative ways to use this energy, because eventually we're going to run out and we rely on that energy a lot. So you guys, your generation, my generation, the scientists that are coming into the world now, are their biggest thing needs to be that they need to find better ways to find energy. Okay, so conservation is the preservation or management of the environment and natural resources. So conservation just means how can we conserve or save and use our energy wisely? Because again, we're running out of those things that we use on an everyday basis. One way, turn off your faucet or replant plants. Um, Make sure you're turning off the lights whenever you go out of a room. And then, of course, recycle. So you can reuse paper, plastic, wood, and all these materials that we don't necessarily need at the moment, considered trash, but we can use it again and maybe make more energy out of it. Okay, so hopefully you guys know the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources and the examples of each, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of each one, because it will come up on your test on Monday. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Uh, Also be prepared to start taking notes next week on our new unit. So please make sure you guys have a notebook for science. So have a great day. And again, if you have any questions, let me know.